Boeing is struggling, and this isn't one of those videos where I make a statement and then actually show a bunch of articles proving that the opposite is true in order to refute some fake news. It actually is struggling, and if you look at their stock over the last year to date, then you can see that they're really not doing so hot. And obviously, this is not particularly surprising due to the bad reputation they have with their 737 MAXs, which have had a lot of issues over the past few months. But it's not just the investors pulling out. The corporations are pulling out as well, as you can see from this article. Boeing sales tumble as the company gets no orders for the 737 MAX for the second straight month. Boeing received orders for only 4 new planes in May, and for the second straight month, none for its best-selling 737 MAX as fallout continues from the blowout of a side panel on the MAX during a flight in January. The results released Tuesday compare unfavorably with Europe's Airbus, which reported orders for 27 new planes in May. Boeing also saw Airlines Argentina's cancel an order for a single MAX jet, bringing its net sales for month to 3. The dismal results followed poor figures in April when Boeing reported 7 sales, none of them for the 737 MAX. And you probably know where all of this started. There was that viral event where the door blew off the 737 MAX mid-flight. Alaska airline plane doors fall off mid-flight. On January 5th, 2024, passengers on Flight 1282 traveling from Portland, Oregon to Ontario, Canada were shocked when just a few minutes into the flight, one of the plane doors fell off the plane. The flight was being operated by Alaska Airlines and being flown on a Boeing 737 MAX 9. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, the cabin was depressurized, which exposed the passengers to open air thousands of feet above ground. Now, obviously, this is bad, but then airlines started inspecting the doors on the 737 MAX planes that they had in their hangars and discovered that they had more issues very similar to that one. Boeing 737 MAX 9. United Airlines finds loose bolts in jet inspections. United Airlines said installation issues relating to door plugs would be remedied before the aircraft type would return to service. Inspections began after a section of the fuselage fell off an Alaskan Airlines 737 MAX Pro 9 on Friday, which is the incident that we just talked about. Alaska Airlines says it has since found some loose hardware on some MAX 9s. The Federal Aviation Administration, which regulates air travel in the US, has grounded 171 planes of the same type. And honestly, this is bad, but bad things happen to companies a lot. It's possible to write off some major incident like this as stuff happens and let's just be grateful that no one was hurt. But then other airlines finding that other planes in the 737 MAX 9 lineup have loose bolts is going to be obviously quite devastating to the company because this just keeps happening. And it got worse because then the FAA stepped in. Boeing stocks sink after FAA halts production ramp of 737 MAX 9 jets. Boeing downgraded at Bank of America Securities as the FAA ruling expected to delay 737 production ramp by about a year. The Federal Aviation Administration on Wednesday said it would not allow Boeing Co. to expand production of its MAX airlines after an in-flight blowout this month grounded dozens of them for inspection. It said it would investigate the jet maker's compliance with manufacturing protocols. At the same time, the agency also approved an inspection process to get these grounded jets back into the skies. Boeing's stock, BA, sank 5.6% in morning trading, enough to pace the Dow Industrial Drones average DJIA decliners. It has tumbled 22.4% in January, which puts it on track for the worst monthly performance since it plunged 24.4% in September of 2022. So basically, it's all looking bad and down for Boeing. And also, if you enjoy this kind of deep dive into business and finance news, I post 3 to 5 times a week and I'm getting back on the wagon now. I'd love a subscription and to see you around on some other videos. Now, even though this is a relatively contained incident of one door blowing off and then some others having loose bolts, people are absolutely eating up headlines about Boeing doing badly or messing up, which means anything else bad that the company does will immediately hit those mainstream headlines and everyone's going to hear about it, including unrelated incidents incidents such as this. Boeing fined $51 million. 3 employees charged for violating Arms Export Control Act. Boeing has agreed to pay $51 million for violating export controls of military technology, including employees in China downloading sensitive data from numerous defense aircraft and missiles. The complaint charges that 3 Boeing employees in China downloaded data 25 times between 2013 and 2017, related to 3 different models of fighter jets, an airborne warning and control system, an attack helicopter, and 2 varieties of air-to-ground missiles. In addition, Boeing disclosed that there were also an additional 80 unauthorized downloads of defense data and information that was required to be protected by its employees and contractors in 18 countries, including Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Italy, Japan, Kenya, Morocco, Russia, Singapore, South Korea, Spain, Thailand, Taiwan, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. And that's, first of all, just a lot of different countries and a lot of different servers to have all of your data on and trust that it's not going to get leaked or stolen or anything like that. But additionally, this kind of has nothing to do with anything. This is not at all related to the reliability of the 737 MAX Pro 9s or really anything about the company or how it functions, aside from the fact that it doesn't have a good system of power checks and balances or a good way to stop people who aren't supposed to access and download data from actually accessing and downloading that data. But this investigation has been going on for years, but now every media outlet is suddenly reporting on it because Boeing has been doing so badly in other areas that they're basically just dogpiling on them right now. And usually an incident like this is isolated. The stocks drop, consumers get a little upset, investors get worried and pull out just to see how the general market reacts. But then after about a year or so, people forget, investors decide it's not so bad, they reinvest, and the stocks go back up. However, this isn't just investors getting skittish and corporations not sure if they want to order any new planes. It's also affecting consumers directly, as you can see here. Americans will pay more to avoid Boeing. A majority of Americans are willing to pay more for their flights to avoid traveling in a Boeing aircraft, according to a recent survey which found that public confidence in the company has plummeted amidst a recent string of incidents involving its planes. A poll involving 1,000 U.S. adults who flew commercially in the past 2 years, commissioned by Casinos.us and distributed by Pollfish, found that 50.22% of American flyers would pay between $50 and $150 more for tickets on aircrafts they view as safer than Boeing's. Another 23.74% would pay less than $50, while 19.06% would pay between $151 and $250. Now, obviously, this is just hypothetical. It's not people actually purchasing those tickets, but it does measure people's general willingness to fly on Boeing or seek out Boeing planes. And currently, that willingness to fly on Boeing or seek out Boeing planes is at an all-time low because Boeing is all over the news in horrible, terrible, no good, very bad ways. And this has led to what I think will actually be an issue for Boeing that's not something that's going to be solved just by waiting for people to forget. It is this. New booking tool allows travelers to avoid certain airplane models, including the 737 MAX. A new booking tool allows travelers reserving airline itineraries to avoid the beleaguered Boeing 737 MAX jet, which has recently suffered from a number of issues that have alarmed passengers. The website Alternate Airlines allows travelers to purchase tickets with routes and airlines that don't utilize the 737 models. And here you can see a tweet about that, but this I think will be the real kicker, is if that option exists on ticket buyers or websites of other companies like United Airlines or Alaskan Airlines, every time someone goes to buy tickets, they're going to be reminded that Boeing had those issues. Even if they would have forgotten or would have not cared, once presented the option to not go on Boeing, they might just think, oh, right, I should avoid Boeing. And that could have significantly more far-reaching negative impacts on Boeing and their stock prices than pretty much anything else, because it would be forced to be kept front of mind for consumers. Now, personally, I don't feel bad for Boeing. They did a lot of things wrong here that led to them being in the position they are now. Like, they falsified a bunch of security records specifically for their 737 MAX. They replaced a lot of their executives that were engineers with degrees in safety and actually knew how to build good products with businessmen that would be able to cut costs and cut corners in order to make more money for the shareholders down the road, and a bunch of other things that they have done to make more money and make less safe planes. And now they've made their bed, and now they're sleeping in it. And look what it's doing for them. Thanks for watching.